Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Bonnie, Leah, and Kim talking about our one cool thing. Leah already talked about Mom's Mabley, but before we dive back in, let's get to know something random about our gal pals. I would like to know, guys, what is your favorite book or movie that centers around gay pride or gay history?
I hear Kim studied
Oh,
and is prepared.
There's some cliff notes.
I like
Like how
pre-questions.
I am throwing somebody under a bus. Love you, Kim.
No, that's totally fine. Like, I'll just go first all the time. It's fine. I don't mind.
I got this.
I'll be that person in the
I did
room.
homework.
Kind of. The thing is, I haven't really, unfortunately, I haven't really seen any movies that like actually focus or center around gay pride or gay history. Like the closest is probably Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It counts, yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
I'm a
Mhm.
sweet transvestite
But-
from transsexual Transylvania.
Right?
Totally.
But like the thing I was thinking about is I was like, I really enjoy the movies that just include all relationships as if it were normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's nothing, or if it is something, it's hinted on and then forgotten about and accepted.
Right.
So like My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Yep.
With Joey Fatone, The Pitch Perfect,
Yep.
where they were like, let's be honest, you know, and then like Little Miss Sunshine, like movies
Yeah.
like that where they just didn't include all relationships. So that was my answer. Like
I like that.
I just enjoy those movies. Yeah.
totally see that. Bonnie, do you have an answer?
I'll
Still
cheat
thinking.
and do the one that I'm reading now.
Do it.
It's a biography on Nazanova. Gosh, I gotta remember how to pronounce her name correctly.
It's
Because it looks like Nazi. And it's not Nazi, it's Russian.
A favorite
Ah.
subject of ours.
Nazanova.
yeah, if you're playing the Gals Guide bingo game at home, we said Nazi. I believe you take a trick. It's always the subject we try to avoid. Not really. We do it.
There can't be an elephant in the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got to explore all topics.
Nothing's off limits.
It's true.
How is the book so far?
It's really good.
Is it good? All right. Juicy.
I'm only like halfway through it, but it's really good.
All right, sweet. Oh no. Okay, all right. So, trying to think a favorite book or movie. Okay. I really liked Ellen DeGeneres' book that is not an autobiography, but it plays like it's an autobiography. It's the one where she's practicing for the Iditarod with her chihuahuas in Los Angeles. And she keeps like putting her dogs on the sled to try to pull the sled to get them ready for the Iditarod. And I freaking love that book. Because it was written just like a stand-up performance. So I'm like, dude, if
that's
all
awesome.
books are like this. I read like Paul Reiser's book after that. I like started reading comedians' books because I'm like, this is perfect.
Good idea.
So that one's absolutely really, really good. I also will give a shout out to there's a documentary called Paris is Burning, which I was telling Kim about earlier. That is actually it's a really good documentary. It was hard to find when I worked at a video store because the documentary I want to say came out in like 85 or something like that. So when I worked at a video store, it was out of print at the time. And it was really, 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 really good. But it's a documentary about the New York ball culture of drag queens. And this documentary was filmed over years and years and took even more years and years to like edit and stuff like that. To the point, unfortunately, because of the AIDS crisis, a lot of the people who were in the documentary were not alive at the time the documentary was released. And that was like a huge part of the tragedy of it of, okay, do you see that this ball culture was one little respite, you know what I mean? One little piece of happy in a really, really terrible, time sort of thing for gay culture. But you were welcomed and you had a place to be and a place to be fiercely fabulous. And so
Nice.
Paris is Burning is what that one is. So I love that one.
It's amazing.
Katie, what is yours?
What is mine? I really loved the movie Milk.
Oh, I never saw it.
Oh,
It's on my Netflix
so
queue right now.
Good. I
Good.
loved it. Wasn't it Sean Penn?
Sean Penn,
He did
yes.
such a good job. And it was
Aw.
just, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
So
What was he was San Francisco mayor or governor? I can't remember but it was political, and
Yes,
it was
it
him
was.
running for office in San Francisco. And as being openly gay in a time where you weren't openly gay and running for office.
Yeah. I watched it a long time ago, but I remember it had a really big impact because it had it all, like rooting, but then the real life impact and drama. I more remember the feeling than the true story, so I'm not going to be able to whip out any good facts, but I do
you're good,
highly recommend it. It's great.
I look forward to seeing it then.
And that'd be important this year, right? Because there's a candidate.
Yeah,
Who-
from Indiana.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Budacek? Buddha.
We
It's
call
the
him Mayor Pete.
Mayor Pete. I think that's fair.
Mayor Pete. Perfect. And he is adorable.
Exactly. Is he from South Bend or something like that?
That's where he's mayor of. I don't know
Okay.
if that's where he's from.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm near
Actually-
Chicago way.
See,
I haven't done any research on him yet.
I
My
haven't either.
closest friend from high school, she's so smart and brilliant, and she 100% supports him. And I'm like, I don't have to
Yeah.
research.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I 100% trust your opinion, so I'm good. But
Well, plus
no,
at
I
this
should.
point, this is when I barely pay attention to
Right.
political candidates because so many of
Mhm.
them drop out that I'm just like, it's still early. I'm excited about everybody joining the party.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
great. Let me just wait till we get it down to like 3 people, and then I'm fully plugged in.
Totally.
I got other fish to fry, I guess, at that point.
But it's easier to see their actual views instead of them just burning other people.
Yeah.
They actually talk about what they are supporting instead of what they're against. Now vote for me because you're against
Right.
it too. Kind of. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yes.
That stuff irritates the crap out of me.
Ugh, the dirty
I'm
campaigns.
like, just tell me what you're about.
I
Because
hate when
it's
they
But
like
that's
quicker.
harder
Don't
because
Yes.
then more people
answer
could
the
hate you for it.
question. They just like
Uh-huh.
sidestep
Yep,
around
they're
it.
magicians.
Like, I
Sweet.
hate that.
They're like, look over
Mhm.
here. Okay, we're talking over here.
It's like, so you didn't answer a question.
So I
then.
did nothing.
Exactly.
I kind of wish I had that power because I'm a chronic
Yeah.
oversharer. So if you ask me one question, suddenly you're going to know about the poop I had last week. That was a real struggle.
And we appreciate
And that's why
And-
we love you.
It's
That's
just
why we'd vote
going to
for
get
you.
more in depth after that. No, I would make a terrible, terrible politician.
Have you ever heard of a floater?
Exactly.
Tell us about
I
your
love
tax policies.
Right.
Well, the poop I had last week was shaped like Abraham Lincoln, and I believe Abraham Lincoln would lower
It's a
taxes.
sign.
Exactly. It's vote for me.
Well, I'm glad you guys are super chatting it up with me because my one cool thing I think will be more conversation based
Sweet.
because when I thought about the LGBT monthly theme, the thing that kept coming to my mind was the idea of how cool would it be to have 2 moms? That's all I could think.
I do love that idea.
Right. And I feel like a lot of times when I start these podcasts, I end up telling you my journey story of research because lots of times I'm researching things I've never looked for before or thought of before. So I'm usually surprised with what I find.
Yeah.
And I'm a terrible Googler. So there's lots of pitfalls and follies on the way.
I can teach you some skills, but at the same time, your
awesome.
Google Kung Fu is awesome. The rabbit holes you find.
Oh gosh, some of the things I consider Googling, I'm like, I can't write that in Google.
Yeah, you can.
I don't have 5 hours.
Well, I kind of started this research out, I think, from a really selfish place. Because I'm a mom,
Yeah.
and I know how all-encompassing and exhausting it is to raise your children. You love
Absolutely.
them, but, it takes so much energy. So I was just thinking, in my experience, I feel like moms are more in tune with their kids. So
They're more on the emotional side anyway, in the sense of it is problem solving,
Mhm.
but it's let's talk about the emotions or where it's coming from first, sort of thing. It's just a different trajectory. It's
Well,
more sensitive sometimes.
and I just want to say that's from my perspective. I know that doesn't summarize everybody's
Right.
experience with
Yeah, yeah.
raising kids.
Totally fair.
But I have a few friends that we always talk about, like, if we could just raise our kids with another woman, that would be amazing.
The thought of it right now, I really like.
Right.
That's the essence of it takes a village.
Right? And it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. And I think that plays into some of the stuff I found too, that I'll get into. But where I started from, which I totally know where that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got distracted by our conversation. I got to turn it mentally back around. Oh, but when I first started researching, really I was looking for things from my own perspective. Like, if you raised kids with another woman, what is that experience like? Mm-hmm. Because I know women who have children together, but they're not people I'm really close to that I have felt like I can ask questions to. Yeah. Although I will say part of doing this research made me realize there's a lot I don't know about the LGBT community. Yeah. And that I should be asking questions.
Absolutely.
Because the more we're all talking and learning about each other, I think that just makes everybody more open and accepting.
And more compassionate and educated at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was a little ashamed of myself. I'm like, I do need to ask those questions like, hey, so does it completely rock having another mom, or do you get jealous? Because what if your kid's cuddling more with your partner?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dare they? No.
Exactly. Yeah. No, fair question. Yeah.
So I'll pose the question that, like, in relationships, everyone kind of has a balance. So there's more of a disconnected person, more an emotional person, like
more of a problem solver, like a physical problem.
Yeah.
This thing broken, we fix it.
Exactly. like a physical fixer and an emotional fixer, and you kind of like just vibe together and all that stuff. Yeah. So, I don't know. I almost think it would be a very close relationship, as like no matter what, if you had two parents, they would serve a different role for the child. I don't know.
That's a lot of good intuition. Really don't know.
You might take on exactly the yin and yang, you know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of dynamic, no matter the gender.
Like if I were gay, I would probably be the fixer, let's go make a desk or something like that kind of person.
The quote-unquote masculine energy. It doesn't mean that it necessarily is, but exactly. Yeah. And
because I like problem solving or whatever, and I push my emotions away, you know, I mean.
No, I'm like, lay on this couch and tell me about your parents.
Yes. Come to mama.
Exactly. I got you.
No, but
Doctor on paper.
You hit the nail on the head, Kim, though, because that was really the research I found was saying it was the outcome for kids raised by same-sex parents was very equivalent to kids just raised by two parents.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the emotional outcome and success and that kind of thing. It was, and the experience even, like, this is just my family, this is who we are, was very equivalent. But I didn't, it's funny, I ended up reading a lot about the outcome for kids, but I really started in a place of like, what's this like for women?
Yeah,
better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really found I couldn't really find much research about parenting with another woman, like scientific. I was all over Psychology Today. I'm like, there's got to be something here.
Was there
how's your mental health?
Less divorce rating? You know, that's one way to approach it, because sometimes divorce is different parenting styles or different, you know what I mean, relationship. But if there is less divorce, you know, or separation between gay parents.
That's the one study I did find was relationship happiness.
Oh, perfect.
Saying that same-sex couples were happier than heterosexual couples.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that they're happier in their relationships. A lot of it did come down to just kind of the distribution of household labor and work.
Because you're not playing with traditional gender roles. You are making it up how it suits the two of you in the relationship.
Yeah, it talked about how there's more marital equity in same-sex couples, therefore more happiness, less divorce, less issues. Yeah. Although I did not see any, you're really good at this, maybe you can think of like what the reason would be. Right.
But
they said the lowest outcomes of happiness in relationships were people that are bisexual.
Oh.
I don't know.
I know,
right?
Exactly.
Nothing's
coming to mind of exactly why.
I was almost thinking like but homosexual people already have to hash their thoughts and feelings out with each other to begin with, because they're already I would feel like a minority in the community that I live in, you know, so they're already talking about emotional and feelings and like
Right.
working shit out together. And
Yeah.
can I say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
This
Is this
Vegas.
adult time? I
You're
don't know.
good. Did you hear me talking about moms,
But
Maybelline?
there's so many people nowadays,
Yeah.
especially like under 40, that don't hash out problems
Yeah.
anymore. They're like, oh, we've got issues, we fight all the time, and then they just try to, you know, find an alternative answer instead of like communicate. I feel communication has gone down
Right.
so much.
Yeah, this
But
is true.
that interests me.
Yeah.
Like bisexual.
Well,
Like
you know what
why that would be the highest rate.
I kind of wonder. I mean, this is like my gut, and I'm not sure, so I'm just kind of grasping at it. But I think to be bisexual, you take a lot of crap from both sides.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you know thyself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
So it could be just from a sheer confidence, a sheer know thyselfness
Yeah.
Mhm.
of being able to, you know, to navigate relationships and navigate problems and things like that. You're coming at it with a different energy of no, I take a lot of crap. So I make decisions that are best, you know, suited for me and what I have to deal with.
Mhm.
That is what my guess would be. But again, I don't know,
Right.
but that would be fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Dig it.
Well, and that kind of tied into the topic too of the study of the children's experience with same-sex parents or opposite-sex parents, that the more support they had from their community. Because you mentioned
Mhm.
being part of a community or not being part of a community, but that could have a profound impact on how
It
well
does.
you know your children are functioning.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, you know, couples that do have a lot of support, no matter what, do have that sense of happiness within their relationship.
Yeah.
So, and kind of on that, like, happy with your relationship, happy with being a mom topic,
Mhm.
I also saw a study out of Australia that said that same-sex parents and then women that have more than 4 children are the happiest parents.
Oh, really?
I love the look on
Ah,
Bonnie's face
children.
right now.
Or, oh man,
You
like
almost
most
have a
people
baseball
I know
team.
have like 2 or 3.
Well, that supports the community thing.
I know, right?
At 5, you're a community.
Exactly.
I've been pulling my hair out.
And I think some of their basis too was that if you're a woman and a woman or a man and a man wanting to have a baby, you're having to commit to that. It's a, you know, profound decision you've made in your relationship, and you've probably gone to a lot of work, invested a lot of time, and probably even money into making that happen.
There's
Yeah.
So
no
it's truly
oopsies in
something
that
Yeah,
one.
there's
you're
no
valuing.
accidental pregnancies there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my mind was, that adoption piece.
Yeah.
But as I dug into it, I also realized that there are so many children with step parents that maybe parents get divorced and then the other one finds a partner.
Right.
So then they're living in a household with 2 moms,
Mm-hmm.
but they're one mom's biological child, and what that dynamic would be like.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
What similarities would be in the other studies and what differences and stuff.
yeah, so there's a
Interesting.
lot of components to trying to figure all that out, and really what it came down to was I was finding a lot of people's individual stories.
That's where, yeah,
Mhm.
I would say would have a lot
It's a
of
meaty
weight is
bone.
listening to the individual stories and just, you know, relating. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, oh, I totally dig this. I totally relate to that. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I wouldn't do it that way, but I understand.
Well, one of the coolest things I read about somebody saying that has 2 moms made me think of Gal's Guide and what we're always talking about. She said she just feels lucky that she had 2 such strong female role models in her life.
Right?
That instead of just even one, maybe most people have that in their mom, their primary role model, and she has 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're always talking about how important female role models are. So I
Absolutely.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because a lot of times we'll find that, you know, women don't have a female role model. They have their mom, and a lot of times they're trying to not be their mom.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like either, you know, you have your mom role model and you're like, that's how I'm supposed to be. That's, you know what I mean? That's my go-to sort of thing. Or I'm going to rebel from everything of who my mom was. And so I have no blueprint whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, that's tough. But having more than one mom, you know what I mean? Or even moms, aunts, grandmothers in the picture gives you variety of different ways of how to be a woman. And you can pick and choose and find your own path and use what works and throw away what doesn't.
And let you know it's okay.
Exactly.
Like, my aunts and I vibe in different ways than my mom and I do, and we definitely all have different backgrounds and different, I don't know, internal and external, like,
influences and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, I can't think of the right word. I'm stuck right now. Sorry.
You're good.
I'm done.
Interests and things like that.
Yeah, we relate in different ways, and so we get excited about different things,
and that's what makes the world interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I love watching they pop up on like my Facebook feed all the time is when a couple, and I think all the ones I've seen have been of women, and one goes to propose and the other one also had the ring ready. So it's like and it's like the most adorable thing ever, and it's like
totally
that did
like,
give me chills just
like,
now. That was pretty cool.
I just can't even imagine having
so
a partner
sweet.
that's like on the exact same level as you. Like they're just as committed. Like it's
Right.
so beautiful.
That is.
That is too cute.
No. I think I probably spend a bit too much time thinking about all the ways it could probably be better being with a woman. No offense to my fiance. I love him dearly.
Oh, man.
Beyonce.
I have been fiancéed. We learned that last month.
I love it.
But I know what I
Yeah.
appreciate in my best friends and what they add to my life. So I
Right.
think, if I could have that all the time,
See.
I think we just need to all live in communes again.
Right,
So
exactly.
we have that close support all the
Gas Guide is
time.
going to start a cult. Wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
that's-
You
You
didn't
learned
buy
in-
the farm already?
Right, exactly. No, I think actually there is a lot to learn. I think that the more unconventional ways to raise kids and to form, your own chosen family, you know what I mean? Whichever way that means, where your friends become your family, the more people that write about that, we're all going to be able to learn different ways to parent and be and function through society, sort of thing. But yeah, that could be a lot of research, and then also just
Yeah.
a lot of people that need to write some books. So Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah.
Right?
and your lovely
I
spouse. I
would
love those
read
two.
it.
They write a
So
book. Tell
adorable.
me how you parent. I'm all down. You know what I mean? And Ellen and Portia, I just want to know how that relationship works because you two are adorable as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
I would
it's
love to hear
fascinating.
more stories, and I'm definitely going to start asking more questions from the people I know
Yeah.
in my life to hear what their experience is like, and definitely learning from each other. Just think about that study. If we could take the heterosexual relationships that don't have that relationship equality and show that how much better the entire relationship is when it's
Right.
there,
Yeah,
and use that as a model,
Yeah.
that would be incredible.
exactly. Yeah. Because love is love, but happiness. Let's all fight for that. I absolutely dig it.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool too that researching this and meeting to talk to you guys about this gave me an opportunity to talk to my son
Oh, cool.
about our
Nice.
monthly topic and what I was going to talk about and what I was
Yay.
thinking. Because one thing I saw over and over again when I looked at these articles was that one of the downsides, obviously, is the discrimination.
Oh, yeah.
That people think it's
Oh,
taboo to talk about to children, but we'll tell a 4-year-old like, "Oh, do you have a girlfriend now?"
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll
People
put
draw
on the
back
They're like
from-
10 years old. And you're like,
Mhm.
what?
But people hesitate or act like it's odd to speak about
Yeah.
same-sex relationships, or that you might possibly want to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I always use the term with my kids when you find the love of your life or when you find a partner.
Yeah.
I tried all the time to never put any kind of gender on it if possible.
Mhm.
Because you know what? It's
Yeah.
they probably don't even know at that moment either.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I define it for them, sort of thing? So yeah,
Yeah,
to each his own.
absolutely.
I love it.
So people out there in podcast land, talk to your kids.
Absolutely.
Expose them to all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of ideas, and everybody share your stories with each other.
Yeah.
That's my one cool thing, guys.
I love it.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, that is fantastic. Bring us home.
All right, I will. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week as our next gal pal shares her one cool thing as Gal's Guide to the Galaxy podcast continues. Thanks for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.